but I can't help.
Down in the Gulf, there's a black sea monster, and my crime ain't huge, a world tattered cube.
So today we're gonna do something a little different. I get a lot of questions from readers, and I absolutely love it. So I'm gonna start doing a Q&A session, and we are going to call it 3, 2, 1. And here's the idea. Every week I'm going to take 3 that are related to style and answer them, 2 that are related to me personally and answer them, and just for fun, I'm gonna encourage you guys to start asking me random questions, then we can start having some fun with that too. Let's start with the first episode of 3, 2, 1. First question in our style section is from Matt. Matt says, today I had a few quick questions on my carry conundrum. Good alliteration there, Matt. I work in Manhattan and commute by train about an hour a day. I work in accounting and my job requires me to bring my laptop to and from work into various client offices. I have a brown leather messenger bag that is stylish, but doesn't hold all that much and tends to hurt my shoulder after a while. My other bag is a black, corporate branded and somewhat nerdy looking backpack that naturally holds a lot and is comfortable, but I can't help but feel like an intern or a child when I'm wearing a nice blazer and a corporate branded backpack. Do you have any tips on what bag would be the best of both worlds? I think that it is next to impossible to be able to have a backpack that wears well and looks good with a suit. I've seen a few that are leather and look great and are really like high quality crafted backpacks. They sell for anywhere from $800 to $2,000, and they're awesome pieces. And even then, as much as they kind of lean towards that luxury side or the refined side, which is typically the archetype that you're communicating when you're in a suit, it still doesn't work. So my advice to somebody like Matt, especially because it sounds like, even in a city like Manhattan, unless you're commuting by bike, and honestly, it's great if you have something that you can have with a shoulder strap, but for the most part, you shouldn't be carrying around enough stuff that it kills you to just hold it in your hand. That way you don't have any lines or anything that are coming across your suit. So I would recommend getting something that's just big enough to carry what you need as far as function goes, and then carry it. Skip the backpack because the likelihood of being able to find something that works is pretty slim. Okay, number 2, this is from Michael. Michael asks, are long overcoats and particularly trench coats below the knee appropriate and flattering for a young man such as myself? We're in this kind of weird time when it comes to the length of coats, where really weird time when almost anything menswear, where basically anything goes, which is kind of fun. Coat length is a great one. I made a coat last year that if I could go back and make it again, I would make it about 6 inches longer. It falls well above my knee. It's just barely long enough to cover my jacket. When I see the silhouette on it, I don't love it. A lot of guys are going towards longer and fuller cut coats, especially because Kanye West started doing that, and being the icon of street style that he is, he's definitely kind of setting the tone on things. The only thing that I would recommend, I guess there's 2 things I would recommend. One, I'm not seeing really anything that's floor length, like ankle length right now. I'm sure that as soon as I say this, then I will be proven wrong with myriad photos of guys who are wearing stuff that are all the way down to their ankle. It's not as commonly seen. Part of it is just because it's so much, and it still evokes a little bit older of an ethos that's very World War I. The other thing that I'll tell you is, for the proper coat length, you need to know a few things in regards to proportion. If you're wearing it as a top coat, which it sounds like for you a trench coat is, you're wearing it over a jacket or a sport coat, then it needs to be long enough that it actually covers the jacket and the sport coat at a minimum. The other thing you want to factor in related to those proportions is, what are your proportions? If you have legs that are disproportionately long in comparison to your torso, get it so that the jacket's a little bit longer, because it helps even those out. And then vice versa, if you've got a torso that's a little bit longer than your legs. Third one, from Ash. I have a semi-decent wardrobe, budget forever an issue with many in this world. Anyway, I buy some really nice solid staple pieces, but end up just wearing my old rags for some strange reason. My good wardrobe ends up becoming a display of sorts in my wardrobe that never sees the light of day. They look great, but they never leave the hanger. Actually, there's a fable for that. The miser. And Ash, I'm not saying that you're a miser. Says, a miser had buried his gold in a secret place in his garden. Every day he went to the spot, dug up the treasure, and counted it piece by piece to make sure it was all there. He made so many trips that a thief who had been observing him guessed what it was that the miser had hidden, and one night quietly dug up the treasure and made off with it. When the miser discovered his loss, he was overcome with grief and despair. He groaned and cried and tore his hair. A passerby heard his cries and asked what had happened. "My gold! Oh, my gold!" cried the miser wildly. "Someone has robbed me!" "Your gold? There in that hole? Why did you put it there? Why did you not keep it in the house where you could easily get it when you had to buy things?" "Buy?" screamed the miser angrily. "Why, I never touched the gold. I couldn't think of spending any of it." The stranger picked up a large stone, threw it in the hole, and said, "If that is the case, cover up that stone. It's worth as much to you as the treasure you lost." Basically, what's the point of buying good clothes if you're not going to wear them? I can sympathize with this. It's easy to say, I'm going to save my nice clothes for a special occasion, which you should do if you have clothes that are required for that special occasion. Not because it's necessarily nicer, but because it's inappropriate. So if you invest in good quality staples, wear them. That's the point, is you can wear these more often. You will get more longevity. They look better. They're not there to be in your closet. So Ash, just kind of move yourself past it and just start doing it, because nice clothing does you zero good when it's in your closet. I don't remember who asked me this question. I can't even find it. Facebook has so many different weird message mediums. But basically, the guy who asked me this asked me how I got into the industry. This is a whole long story, and this video is already going way too long. So I'm not going to go into all of it. Here's kind of the Cliff Notes version. Got my degree in broadcast journalism, wanted to do talk radio, graduated in 2010. When I graduated, it was very shortly after the housing bubble had broken. There were no jobs really for anybody fresh out of college. Continued to work my job at doing loans for a financial institution. Started Masculine Style because I wanted to keep writing and keep my voice sharp. Found I really enjoyed doing it and started taking it more seriously. Daughter is born in 2012 and realized that the money that I was making at the credit union was not going to be enough for me to provide, because we decided that my wife was going to stay home. So I decided to try to start monetizing Masculine Style with coaching. That made me start treating it more like a business. Did a whole bunch of research online. I don't have any sort of technical history or anything. I never took a fashion class, or I never studied anything related to menswear other than what I read on blogs. My treating it like a business led to my wanting to come and interview the guys who run Beckett and Rob. Hit it off really well, left with the job offer 4 hours later. I know that you would want kind of advice on how to do that, and really my only advice is, if you want to find your way into an industry, make room for yourself, because we don't live in a culture anymore where credentialism or degrees or any of that stuff really helps create a place for you. You kind of have to force your way in. So make your way into it. Find something that's a unique approach to it. Mine was the philosophical approach. Don't wait for permission. Just make your way into the industry. From Tiago, he said, I've been following Masculine Style for a few years now. Great stuff. I do have a question though. Why do you live in Salt Lake City instead of moving to a place that is more fashionable and has more career opportunities in that field? Salt Lake is home. I grew up here. My family, other than one brother and his wife, are all still here. My wife's family is all still here. I absolutely love Salt Lake City. It's this well-kept secret. Beckett and Rob is headquartered here, so I don't have any plans of ever leaving Salt Lake City. It perfectly accomplishes the balance for me. Okay, moving on to our one random question. Actually, like I said, I never get them, so here's an example of what a random question would be. How many horses died in World War I? The answer was 8 million horses and countless mules and donkeys died in the First World War. So, nothing to do with style, nothing to do with me, but still kind of interesting, fun stuff. When you have questions, like I said, I want to do this every week. So, questions, send them to contact@masculine-style.com. I'll go through and I will kind of pull up the best, and we will continue to do this on Fridays.
I guess I probably should have done my research.